Well, good morning and welcome back to the Broadcast Retirement Network. I'm Jeff Snyder, and this is BRN AM for Thursday, March 5th, 2020. And our top story today, new approaches to retirement income planning. Well, joining me now is Jean Chatzky. She is the founder and CEO of Her Money, as well as the NBC Today Show's financial editor. And I should also point out that she is an educational fellow for the Alliance for Lifetime Income. Jean, welcome to the program.
Pleasure.
It's great to see you. So I want to start things off. Today's a big announcement from the Alliance for Lifetime Income on their new MUG initiative and also some research. But I want to talk a little bit with you about retirement income. And you've been doing, you've been reporting, been a journalist for a long time, working with people. Give us your perspective on retirement income and how important it is.
Well, not only is it important, but what's scary is that many people don't know where they stand in terms of how much money, A, they'll need for retirement, and B, they'll actually have for retirement. So let's just sort of set the landscape here. People know that they can expect Social Security. That will cover about 40% of your pre-retirement income for most people. These are averages. Interestingly, the less money you earn, the more Social Security will actually replace. It's people who are earning low to mid six figures that we're very worried about, because Social Security will not replace a decent chunk of their income. And many have not strategized to figure out if the 401ks, the other retirement accounts that they've pulled together on their own will cover the rest. And we know that pensions have basically evaporated in this country. About 17% of people are lucky enough to have one, but you can't really count on that either.
Yeah, absolutely. And the retirement income, is kind of the holy grail, Jean. I mean, I've spent my entire career in the retirement industry, so working with 401ks, 403bs, and we've always talked about accumulation, so money going in. So used to be save 15% of your income or some percentage, get the match, and you're going to be okay. But now the real holy grail is decumulation or pulling money out. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I'm with you, right? I spent the bulk of my career at personal finance magazines, and it was all accumulate. And what we only started to talk about as the baby boomers entered retirement was the fact that decumulation, figuring out how to make your money last as long as you do with a withdrawal strategy that makes some sense, is equally as important. And the metric that people relied upon for a very long time, that 4% rule, showed that it's not always the best, at least in terms of market, at times of market turmoil, right?
Yeah.
If you get hit by a 2009 market, 2008 market, the year that you retire, you're going to have trouble making up for that if you're withdrawing at a rate of 4%. And so it's gotten people talking about this concept of lifetime income, and that what seems to be making sense, and what we're talking about when we're talking about MUG, is making sure that you've got enough money when you take Social Security and when you take a chunk of your retirement stash and perhaps convert it to a lifetime paycheck, that it will cover the things that you really need. MUG stands for mortgage, utility, groceries. Those are the top line needs as identified in a survey by the Alliance. But very closely on the heels of that comes healthcare, transportation, and the cell phone that you can't put down. And so making sure that you've got enough to cover those things, I think, is a really smart move. And then nobody's suggesting that you take your entire retirement stash and annuitize it, at least not at today's interest rates. That would kill your shot at growth. You want to make sure that you've got a decent chunk still invested so that it can keep pace with taxes and inflation and keep growing for you.
Yeah, and I absolutely agree with you. And one of the things I love about this initiative is it's about education. And, you know, Jean, you know as well as I that the word annuity sometimes has had a difficult connotation in our lexicon. And I think that's unfortunate because these investment products can really serve, as you're talking about, can really serve a great importance here. What kind of education do we need to do? Is it just about reframing this for many Americans? Because they may have this old, antiquated way of thinking about these products.
I think it's about a couple of things. I think the industry is working on reframing the products so that they're easier to understand. But I also think it's on the consumer's point of view, understanding there's a landscape here. And I am a fan of the simpler, the better, right? Buy something that you truly understand, that you know what the payout is going to look like, where you know that you are going to get the money for as long as you live. And don't venture into the land of fees and complications that you don't understand, because it's not necessary.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's going to take, I think it's an effort of re-explaining, but also people have to be engaged and you have to do their part as consumers to understand these products. Doesn't mean you have to be an investment expert, right? But you should understand the basics. And I guess that kind of ties back into the whole financial literacy conversation.
Well, and I don't believe anybody should buy something that they don't understand, right? This is why we continue to ask questions, even when we think we've asked that question already. If somebody's not giving me an answer that I can understand, you better believe I'm going to ask my question again, and I'll ask it of somebody else if I can't get an answer from the person that I'm talking to today. But I do also think that as the Secure Act takes hold and annuities start showing up as options in 401k plans, and as you start to see your balance in your retirement plan reflected as a lifetime paycheck, we're going to start to learn these things in a faster, more comprehensive way.
Yeah, absolutely. Gene, I want to get to that when we come back. When we come back, we'll talk more with Gene about the Secure Act, talk more about MUG, and then we'll talk about the Alliance for Lifetime Income. So stay tuned right here on BRN AM. Imagine a new television network that will make you richer, healthier, and in control of your financial future. This network is for the policewoman in Nashville, Tennessee, the baker in Dubuque, Iowa, the teacher in Lexington, Kentucky. We want to make the idea of savings and retirement culturally relevant. But what do you see as a defining issue of the midterms? Especially for the smaller businesses. I mean, they are the lifeblood of the American economy. Featuring exclusive interviews, current affairs, and docuseries. 33 years old, you retired early.
The philosophy is money only matters if it helps you live a life that you love.
But you got to start thinking about retirement as soon as you get in.
The Broadcast Retirement Network will drive very high engagement with premium partnerships. So this isn't retirement and savings for your parents or grandparents. This is for all Americans. And we're going to change the way you think about money. Welcome to the next frontier of retirement and savings. This is BRN, the Broadcast Retirement Network.
The windows on our homes, they protect us and the ones we love, but they do much more. At Renewal by Andersen, making your home more comfortable is at the center of every window we make. It's why we custom build our windows in America and install them in as little as 1 day. It's why we build our frames with exclusive Fibrex composite material that's 2 times stronger than vinyl. It's why our glass helps keep your home warmer in winter, cooler in summer, and quieter all year long. It's why we stand behind every window with a 20-year limited warranty. Why not help lower your energy costs while giving your home and family the best? Call 1-800-835-6525 to schedule a free in-home consultation. Buy one, get one at 40% off with this special offer. Plus, get special financing with no money down, no monthly payments, and no interest for 1 full year. Renewal by Andersen, the better way to a better window. Call 1-800-835-6525 now.
Welcome back. We're talking to Jean Chatzky. She is the founder and CEO of Her Money, as well as the NBC Today Show's financial editor, and she's also an educational fellow for the Alliance for Lifetime Income. Jean, thanks so much for sticking around with us this morning.
You are my pleasure.
I'm talking real fast. I'm running out of breath, but there's so much to get to here. You mentioned on the outro, leading into our commercial break, about the Secure Act, and that is a really important act that was passed at the end of 2019 and has some really important financial and retirement income provisions.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think when we're talking about lifetime income, the two to pay attention to are the fact that due to a change in the restrictions, I guess, for lack of a better word, on 401k plan providers, you will start to see annuities showing up as options within your plan. So you'll be able to buy lifetime income as you buy other mutual funds, target date funds. It'll just be an option on your menu. And so if you like the idea of setting up your financial life in retirement so that you know what your paycheck is going to look like, as well as providing yourself with some growth, it's my understanding that you'll be able to do that from the time you make your purchases. So that is a good thing. The other thing to pay attention to, and I sort of liken this to when the Schumer box showed up on credit card statements and showed you how much you'd have to pay in order to get out of debt in 3 years. You will start to see the balance reflected as a monthly paycheck. So that if your entire balance in your account was annuitized, this is how much you would get every month. And that'll give you a very nice metric to be able to look at and say, well, wow, I don't think that's enough. And maybe that will be ammunition to bump up your savings rate to the point where you're putting more in.
Yeah, and like other disclosures, we've had fee disclosures back in 2012. We've had all these other things. And now, for the first time, you'll be able to see, as you're saying, the amount per month, expressed as per month, hitting you in the face every quarter. That's going to be, it could be a wake-up call and a call for more education. And I agree with you. I think it's going to sound the alarm for many people to say, okay, $2,200 on a annuity per month may not be enough. And I would say the last thing, and I'll get your thoughts on this, is that having everything in one spot on a statement, on the website, on your phone app, that makes a lot of sense. It's so sad that it took this long to get there.
Well, and I think you want to take an additional step when you get that, and that is pull your Social Security statement. If you haven't seen it for a while, pull it. Figure out what you can expect to have coming in from Social Security as well. Add those numbers together, and that'll give you a more true picture of exactly where you stand. And then you can figure out, again, if you do have to supplement your savings, if you have to bump up that savings rate, the answer for most people is going to be, without a doubt, yes. Or you can look at taking other measures to scale down your lifestyle. Maybe do that sooner rather than later in order to give yourself a little more breathing room. But I'm with you. I think that having more information is better. There's also a really great quiz of sorts, a tool that the folks at the Alliance for Lifetime Income put together. You can find it at retireyourrisk.org. And basically, it allows you to take a very short, pretty easy quiz to figure out, what you're looking at in terms of the situation that you've put yourself in for lifetime income and for retirement spending.
Yeah, and that's important. Tools, people need to use the tools. They should go out certainly to the website and put in their information. This is something that I think is available. Why wouldn't you educate yourself about it, Jean? Come
on, the answer to that question. People often, it's the same reason that 50% of Americans don't have wills, right? We don't like to look at things where we think we know the answer is not going to be something that we want to deal with, right? Yeah. We don't deal with death, so we don't write wills. We don't want to deal with the fact that we know we're under saving, so we don't take the right steps. But this is one of those scenarios where the sooner you can get yourself to the starting gate where you're contributing enough to get you where you need to be, the better off you're going to be.
And
things that
go
you
ahead.
do at the back end, right? We know that it is really powerful to work even an extra year or two on the back end as you head into retirement. So it's not that if you haven't geared up yet, it's a lost cause. There's plenty that you can do. You just need the information.
And you mentioned, I mean, we're living longer, right? I mean, mortality, that's a huge part of this. We're living longer. I think that's a good, from my perspective, for me, that's a great thing. And I think we all want to live longer. And so this income that we're going to need will have to last longer. Many Americans, as you said, extending later into retirement. Maybe they're not retiring at 65 as we traditionally have done. Maybe they're extending it to 67. Maybe they're going to 70. Maybe they're going a little bit longer, or they're taking other jobs. They're going out and finding other positions or starting their own companies.
Exactly.
So it's certainly topical and very important. Gene, I'd be remiss if we didn't spend a couple minutes on the Alliance for Lifetime Income. Do you want to talk a little bit about who they are? I think some people watching the show, many of our audience may know of them, many may not.
My husband calls them the Justice League, but they are it's the nation's 24 largest insurance companies, and they sell life insurance. They also sell annuities. They have banded together to basically get people to understand the fact that this is going to be a problem. This not making sure that you have enough to cover your monthly expenses is going to be a problem, and dealing with the fact that there are ways to take the risk out of the equation.
Yeah, a very important group, and it couldn't come at a more important time with the passage of Secure, market volatility that we're experiencing now. I mean, that all to me says I need to educate myself on what I should do with money today, but what I should do in the future.
Exactly.
Well, Gene, it's a pleasure chatting with you. Thanks so much for joining us this morning and sharing your insight on the retirement income and helping us learn a little bit more about the Alliance for Lifetime Income and their new MUG initiative. Great to see you, and have a great rest of the week.
Thank you. You too.
And that wraps up this episode of BRN AM. Have a financial topic or someone of interest that you think we should talk to? Drop us a line. And don't forget, for all the news in retirement, markets, technology, personal finance, and so much more, check out today's edition of The Morning Pulse. So until tomorrow, I'm Jeff Snyder. Keep on saving, and don't forget, roll with the changes.
Attention! The Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services has officially authorized new benefits that Medicare Advantage plans may include. To get the benefits you deserve, you can call the Medicare Coverage Helpline.
Hi, I'm Joe Namath. If you're on Medicare, this is important information. I called the Medicare Coverage Helpline and they instantly looked up my coverage. In this one simple call, they offered to enroll me in a plan that includes rides to medical appointments, private home aides, doctors and nurses' visits by telephone, and even home-delivered meals. The plan also includes dental, vision, hearing, and prescription drug coverage, all at no additional cost.
Don't delay. Call to see if the new benefits are available in your area.
Call the number on your screen now. It's free.
Call 1-800-757-1451. That's 1-800-757-1451.